Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are, it's another Thursday, and we're coming live from New York. That's where we originate. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning in London at 1 a.m., and it's also Friday morning in Tokyo, Japan at 10 a.m. They're having breakfast and eggs and getting ready for work. Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Allan, and you're tuned here and viewing what we call Talk Back Live. That's the name of the show. And we're bringing you information every time we come on the air. And we're here every week at this time. Whatever your time zone is, look at your clock, because that's the time that we come on in your area each time. And we are going to be here. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to be getting to a lot of topics. And for those of you who are here for the very first time, let me show you how the show operates. When we come on the air, of course, as the host, I am going to keep things rolling, and we'll start off by giving you topics. And in between all of that, we're talking, you can tune in and you can chime in as well and talk to us live. If you have a particular topic that you want to talk about, bring it on and we'll talk about it too. We'll entertain all of your thoughts and ideas, and we'll get to talk with everyone. And you get a chance to meet people who are coming in and watching, and you'll get a chance to talk to them as well. And so with that in mind, we like to tell you also that we're going to be here for the full hour, and you can talk to us for the full hour. There's so many things to talk about. And again, if you want to chime in conversation, please do that. Feel free to do that. It's very important to us that you are here. And thank you so much again for being along with us. Now, you ought to know as well, we come from 3 different sources. We come here, we're live on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're live on Instagram right now as all of you watch us. So you can pick your choice, whatever you want to watch us on. One of those 3, we're here for you. And we've got our plans for the show, as we always do, including you into the show. We have our regular format. And not too long from now, Brian Camp will be along directly from Charlotte, North Carolina, because he's going to bring us the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. There's a lot to talk about. Of course, I'm not going to talk too much about it until he gets here, but we know Super Bowl is on his way, and we're going to see what's happening with that. I'm going to see if I can get my prediction from him, just in case you guys didn't watch us last week. He made a prediction, but he's going to repeat that prediction now that we know that who's going to be in the Super Bowl. Now he can really make the final prediction, and I'm going to make mine as well. We'll talk more about that later as we go along in sports. Remember that all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, Talk Back Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinion from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any other social media outlet or broadcast facility. And so with that in mind, welcome. Your first time here, right? And you know something? It's Groundhog's Day. I don't know if you're into that or not. It's Groundhog's Day. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, if the groundhog comes out of the door and he sees a shadow, like he saw his shadow in my area where I live, all right, because everyone in different cities and different countries have different groundhogs, and sometimes they see the shadows and sometimes they don't. Now, according to here, where we are in New York, the groundhog saw his shadow. So this way we get 3 extra days. I'm sorry, let's take that back. I wish it was 3 extra days, but we get 6 extra weeks of winter. All right, so I have to endure the cold. According to them, you get 6 extra weeks of winter because he saw his shadow. Now in some places, the groundhog didn't see his shadow. So if he doesn't see his shadow, that means you're going to get an early summer. All right, now let's say, for instance, here where we're going to see he saw his shadow, so we get extra weeks of winter. And let's say, for instance, just offhand, Wyoming. Let's say, for instance, in Wyoming, right? Here in the United States, the groundhog didn't see his shadow. So Wyoming is going to get summer before we do. That's the way that goes. I'm going to stick with the meteorologists. This is a thing that comes, each week, and everybody kind of enjoy it. So there's Groundhog Day in different parts of the world and different parts of the country. We just, either your groundhog saw the shadow or he didn't see the shadow, whatever, So anyway, if you're into Groundhog's Day, that's how it is around here where we are. I don't know if you want to talk about that, if you dare, let us know if the groundhog in your area saw a shadow or maybe didn't see a shadow. Anyway, if that's true, then I think I can endure 6 more weeks of winter. I mean, I've gotten this far, so I guess I can endure. And I do know for a fact tomorrow is going to have real frigid cold weather. I think this is going to be like the coldest day this year. And we didn't get a lot of snow. We got flurries, but who knows? It's not over yet. Winter is not over yet. We can get a big dumping at any time. I don't want to go there. I don't want to talk it up, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, it's now 6 minutes past the hour here. And just in case you're just tuning in just this instant, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And I am Frank Allan with you, and I will be here for the duration up until the top of the hour. Okay. And of course, you already know that we're also in the midst of Black History Month. Black History Month started yesterday, just yesterday, February 1st. Here we are at the 2nd. So we're the 2nd day of Black History Month. And so there's going to be all of this month, Black studies and Black cultural museums and things. They're talking about Black artists and Black musicians, and they'll be celebrating. And of course, you can get to learn and see who are pioneers in certain areas and certain fields. It's all exciting, and it's all this month. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of shows and movies in dedication to Black History Month. So, and it's for everyone to enjoy. It's for everyone to enjoy, because just think of it. Let's say, for instance, when Columbus Day come around, everyone is Italian. When we have the St. Patrick's Day that comes around, which is, by the way, next month, we celebrate that. Everyone is Irish. And that's the good thing about, living in America. We're all whatever we want to be. So everyone is African American, right? We celebrate Black History Month. Everyone is African American. And so it's a good thing to celebrate. And I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of things on TV. I do know, like, sometimes they Turner Classic Movies, they have a lot of Black cinema that I enjoy very much. Some that I don't get a chance to see, and some I probably have never seen, and so I'm looking forward to that. Now, speaking of that, you mentioned movies, which will be coming along later on in the program. We have those picks of Turner Classic Movies, and Turner Classic Movies, I bring you the picks each week, my picks of the week for the weekend. So I have that coming along for you. That's coming along towards the end of the show. We'll have that for you. That's all coming along. We also will give you that information that we call On This Day in History. We have a lot of great stuff that we talk about that happened on this particular day, on this day in history. All of that is coming up. And so we look forward to you being along with us and enduring. And that's what we do. So thank you so much for being along. I hope the weather is nice in your area, because like I said, tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be really frigid. So those of you who live in the New York area, please, bundle up real warm. We'll talk more about that later at any time you like too. Again, if you like to indulge in conversation, all you have to do is let your fingers do the walking. I will see you right there on the big screen. And you could just say a simple hello and whatever you want to do, it's all here. And I look around, a lot of people don't like to indulge in conversation, but that's okay. they just want to watch the show, which is a good thing, as long as you're there watching the show. And but at some point, they may want to talk to me privately, and I have information later on how you can get in touch with me personally and express your opinions about the show, or just even say hi to. But in the meantime, I am so glad you're here. Now, a lot of you are different time zones. Now, like I said, in Tokyo, Japan, it's mid-morning over there. It's after 10 o'clock in the morning over there. A lot of people may be at work right now, or maybe on their way to work right now. So again, whatever time zone you're in and whatever you're doing, we hope that you maintain your time for the rest of the time here that we're here on the air. Stay with us. We really, really would appreciate that. Okay, we have some news from people of notoriety who passed away this week, and I'm pretty sure you heard about it. First of all, let's talk about actress Lisa Laurie. Now, those of you who may not know who she is, Lisa Laurie was best known as the actress who played Wednesday Addams on the original Addams Family, back in the 60s, that sitcom. Well, she died this week. She passed away last weekend, as a matter of fact. And she passed away of a massive stroke at the age of 64 years old. Remember, she was very young. She was about 6 years old when she was doing the Addams Family. That was a young girl that wore the pigtails, remember? And so we send our condolences out to her and her family. And those of you who remember her and enjoyed her over the years, and just remember her, and we remember her now. Little Wednesday Addams from Addams Family. Real name is Lisa Laurie. So we send our condolences out to the family and everyone else who knew her. Also, another legend, this is in the musical world, Barrett Strong from Motown. He was a trailblazer for Motown, and he made that big hit, songs like Money. He recorded that tune, Money. Well, he died last week as well. And he sang the label's first major hit. That was the first, Money was the first major hit for back then Motown, Hitsville, USA. And the Beatles, by the way, covered that later on. Money, That's What I Want. And that was done in 1959 when he did that. And he went to co-write classic songs too while he was with Motown. Songs like I Heard It Through the Grapevine, which was done by Gladys Knight and the Pips, then later on done by Marvin Gaye. He also recorded War, What Is It Good For, back in the Vietnam War days. And he also recorded, Papa Was a Rolling Stones for the Temptations, right? He did that too. And he was 81 years old, Barrett Strong. Well, he lived a long, graceful life. And of course, he's going to always be remembered for Motown, always associated with Motown. And he's always going to be remembered for those great hits that he provided for all of us. We're going to miss him so much. I miss him already. Also, Cindy Williams, who played Shirley opposite of Penny Marshall on Laverne and Shirley, that sitcom that we all know and love so much. And she passed away this past Monday. And Williams died in Los Angeles at the age of 75 years old from a brief illness. She left behind her 2 children, who, by the way, provided the information. I loved her. I thought she was so cute in that Laverne and Shirley. Well, Laverne and Shirley was a takeoff from Happy Days. And so you had Cindy Williams and Penny Marshall, and they got together and they got that show together. And like I said, she was cute, especially when she had a little boo-boo kitty. Remember that? She was also famous for her little boo-boo kitty. So we send condolences out to Cindy Williams and all of her friends and family and all of her fans, our deepest condolences. And a lot of times I really hate to bring out this bad news, but it all talks about things that happen. And speaking of people who have passed away, we're not going to do it right now. I want to save this for last, but you already heard about the funeral of Carrie Nichols, right? His funeral was just this past Wednesday. And but we're gonna the reason why I want to save that for last, because there's a lot to talk about that, a lot to talk about, and we're gonna get into that a little bit later on. So stay with us, and we'll get that out to you, get all of that out to you. A lot of information and a lot of things to talk about, and that's going to be on the other side of the sports, because right now sports is coming up. And Brian Camp, of course, coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, with the latest developments in today's world of sports. And football, you could say, is over, but it's not really over. It's just that, well, Brian, you talk about it. This is your show.
Yeah, it's not over yet. But I want to go back to the Laverne and Shirley days. That was some lineup every Tuesday night on ABC. They had Happy Days. They had Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
Then they had also another spinoff from Happy Days called Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
That was a spinoff. So Gary Marshall was really making a lot of hit shows back then. I mean, he was competing against Carl Reiner, as you know, his shows and spinoffs from All in the Family and Maude and the Jeffersons and Good Times.
Yeah.
Those were some good times back then, you know, with with television. That was real television. Yeah. And I really miss those days. And yeah, Cindy Williams, Penny Marshall, they're no longer with us. And it was great television. It was great fun. And, you know, we surely they will definitely be missed.
Yeah.
But I don't know, but we gotta keep on trying to stay healthy the best way we can, you know.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, but
it was just a short illness. We don't know what the illness was. They never really disclosed that.
Yeah.
Illness, and she was only 75 years old. 75 years old these days is not an old person.
Young. That's right, young.
A long time ago it was, but not today.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, good evening to you and everybody out there that's watching, that's tuning in. It is 41 degrees out here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. It is raining. It's been raining for like the last 24 hours, believe it or not. Yeah, that's how long it's been raining. It's due to stop around 3 or 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So hopefully we'll get a break. Hopefully we'll be okay and see some sun. But it's still going to be wet, though. It's going to be really wet out there, you know. Football, yeah. My predictions held true. I'm that Jimmy the Greek who always know about these here things. Remember Jimmy the Greek who always gave his opinions and predictions on these games. But you watch sports like the way I do and study the game of all sports like I do. You know, I'm not always perfect, but there's always a twist, a hit and miss. There was a controversial calls. Some say that the Kansas City Chiefs game was rigged. And, you know, a lot of people that say it was rigged is the ones that lost money. Let's call it like what we see it. You know, how can you rig a game and, you know, nothing was rigged. You just lost a lot of money. That's why don't blame it on the referees. You just bet on the wrong team and this is what happened. So cut it out. But the Kansas City Chiefs moved on along with the Philadelphia Eagles. They will meet in Super Bowl 57 coming up on February 12th. I believe it is February 12th. Yes. And we're looking for a good game. It's going to get, you know, these players, they get 2 weeks to heal. And they're ready to go. They're practicing right now. The teams are still back in Kansas City and Philadelphia, respectively. They start flying out somewhere. They should arrive at the Super Bowl in Glendale, Arizona on Monday. That's when they start doing media day, when they start doing the interviews and everything. But that's where we are. So we're going to see. Also, football news, Tom Brady finally said, this is it. He's retiring. He said he's not coming back. He's definitely not coming back. He has a job waiting for him as he's making, I forgot the figures, but he's leaving a game that he loves so dearly, going into the booth, and is going to be making a ton of money. So what kind of experience does he have? None. But because of his name as being Thomas Edward Brady, that's why he gets the job, and he's going to be making millions of dollars. So we'll see. Some people predict that he won't do well. Not that they're wishing bad on him, because he has no experience and his heart is in football. Well, this is football, but it's not like being on the field. It's not the same thing. So we're going to see what's going to happen. So we're all set for the football. Not much action. It's just your local NBA games are now on, and you follow baseballs are right around the corner coming up next month. I think pitchers and catchers will be reporting. So we're going to see how that's going to go, and we're going to see. But let's talk about this day in sports, February 2nd, the year 1892, the longest boxing match under modern rules went 77 rounds in Nemekio, Illinois. It's Harry Sharp versus Frank Crosby. 77 rounds. That's a lot of punishment. 1943, Chicago Cubs returned to the original uniform after experimenting with a vest. Okay, I didn't know that they wore vests back then. 1970, Pistol Pete Maravich becomes the first to score 3,000 points in college basketball. 3,000 college basketball points. He played for the University of LSU. 1974, the smallest crowd at Cleveland Arena, the Cavs and the Golden State Warriors was just a little bit over 1,400. Not that many fans, 1,400. Birthdays today. 1895, NFL coach and pioneer George Halas was born in Chicago, Illinois. 1937, Don Buford, former baseball player. I remember him in the '69 World Series. The infielder was born in Linden, Texas. 1959, Dexter Manley, NFL defensive end, was born in Houston, Texas. And in 1968, Sean Elliott, NBA guard, was born in Tucson, Arizona. So yes, those are the birthdays. Now, I'm going to do something differently for this month. As you know, Frank Allan said that this is Black History Month. So I'm going to read you a couple of things from Black history, but sports. If I do Black history of everything, we'll be here all night. But we're going to just do sports. So this day in Black history and sports, 1908, Jack Johnson becomes the first Black heavyweight boxing champion by defeating Tommy Burns. He did this in Australia. Although he was not officially given the title until 1910, after he defeated American Jim Jeffries in Las Vegas. Many whites reacted violently to his defeat of defeating white opponents were banned. In Johnson's home state of Texas, films of Johnson was, beating up a lot of the opponents who were white at that time. His reign champion was for 7 years. He held the title for 7 years, but he had two faults. He believed in speaking his mind, and he liked white women. I can't be angry with that. If they're black, white, orange, or whatever, Asian, Hispanic, a woman is a woman, okay? There's no different parts of what color they are. They all got the same parts. Those two tendencies landed him in jail in 1920 on Trump-up charges of violating the Mann Act law. It was kind of rough back in those days, that made it illegal to transport white women across state lines for immoral purpose. Johnson, who is arguably the greatest boxer who ever lived, died in an automobile accident near Raleigh, North Carolina, June 10th, 1946. They even had the movie of him called The Great White Hope with James Earl Jones. Many of you have seen that. I've seen it, and they picked the perfect person to play that. 1934. Henry Hank Aaron was born on this day in Mobile, Alabama. Baseball great and eventually home run king until Barry Bonds took that away. Began his career in the Old Negro Baseball League, playing for the Indianapolis Clowns before joining the Atlanta Braves in 1954. And finally, February 6th, I'm doing the weekly thing, so it's not on this day. February 6th, tennis star Arthur Ashe dies on this day after contracting AIDS from a 1988 blood transfusion. Ashe was the first African American to win the Wimbledon, defeating Jimmy Connors in the finals in 1975. He was born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. Ashe was also known for his activism in various social causes. Once asked what type of attitude was required of a champion. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports.
You think Tom Brady is actually going to retire? I mean, I know he said it. He said this time for real, and he said that the last time. So I'm going to wait for a while.
We're going to wait again, like what was it? 30 days, 60 days, like last year.
I'm going to give him a 30-day or 60-day chance to come back.
I personally don't think he's coming back after the way he played, the way he looked. He doesn't have that killer instinct anymore. He doesn't want to get hit, put it like that. He just doesn't want to get hit. And how he's been able to survive, he avoid being hit hard. You know, a lot of players wanted a clear shot at him. But,
that was a bad way to go out, though. The last game that he played, a terrible way to go out. That's why I said if he had retired the first time and just stayed where he was, I think that would have been better for him. But listen, you know, like you say, he likes the game, and I guess he couldn't resist, because a lot of us have a certain professions that we retire from and say, "Oh man, I miss it so much. I want to go back." And then some people have the foresight to say, "Yeah, I want to go back, but I know this is the best thing to do is just to stay away from it and quit while I'm ahead."
Yeah, but you know, I think in this case, I think he is going to officially retire. But yeah, we will wait and see. Yeah. As soon as football training camp starts getting closer, he might get that little itch where he wants to come back and everything. Yeah. But this sport is a violent sport, as we saw what happened a month ago with the Buffalo Bills football player who went into cardiac arrest from a vicious hit. So. Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, he has nothing else to prove. Go off, you know, just enjoy your life.
We're going to see. Know. I'm excited to see how he's going to work out in the booth now with no experience, you know. Right. But I'm pretty sure they're going to guide him along, you know, as he goes. I think there's nothing like experience, but, you know, he's going to get the experience now. So maybe, you know, I'm pretty sure the guys in the booth who will welcome him and they'll guide him along, give him pointers and tell him what to do and what to do.
See, my thing is I don't have a problem when a man is making his money. I have no issue with that. But did he pay his dues? Did he pay his dues to go to broadcasting school? Did he go to pay his dues to graduate or to a lot of these pioneers paved their way for other people to come on, but they went to school though. But now they got these here athletes who, after retirement, go straight into the booth. These coaches and athletes, and
I do have my reservations about that too. You know, because I see there's a lot of people who have been in the industry for a long time, and they did it with blood, sweat, and tears, and they did it the hard way, and then. You see someone else to come behind you. Hey, it was very easy. All I had to do is just be a certain person, and I'm in. I have to have I'm in. You know,
just like I love Steve Harvey. I love Steve Harvey, and I love a lot of these here comedians. But how do they land these here radio jobs? Is beyond. No, I'm not hating. No jealousy. I believe a man or a woman should make their money any way they can through whatever businesses, but look at the people that are still out there who try to make it into this business. I know it's a cutthroat business, you know, it certainly is, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a question, a big question for you. We know that Super Bowl will be here on the 12th of February. What's your prediction? You know, I wasn't.
Oh, yeah. I still got until next week, but I'm still leaning towards Kansas City because of Patrick Mahomes.
I thought I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, he's something special. Philadelphia got a very good team. They got a damn good team. But there's something about Patrick Mahomes' special magic that I really like.
Okay.
So right now I'm rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, I'm gonna take Philadelphia.
Okay, and history is going to be made. Two histories.
Yeah.
First history is the Kelsey brothers. For each team are playing against one another for the Super Bowl for the first time, and the second one is two African American quarterbacks, black quarterbacks, are playing in the Super Bowl for the first time against one another.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go for Philadelphia. I mean, as much as I like KC, I mean, neither one of these are my team. But, this is what it is. This is the Super Bowl. And so I think I'm going to take Philadelphia on this one.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens on that.
It's going to be a close team. It's two evenly matched teams. It's tough to pick. You can go either way.
Yeah. But that Kansas City game when they clinched, I think they did that one with ease.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't easy. No, I was thinking about another game. That was a good.
No, you think about the Eagles game. That was easy.
That's what I was thinking about. That was an easy game. But the Kansas City Chiefs, man, that was an interesting game. That was a good game.
Oh yeah.
I thought they were going to go overtime for a minute.
It was headed there, but
And I was thinking to myself, if they go overtime and if they don't break it, what's going to happen? So and
they play the Southern Death until somebody scores.
Yeah, I guess so. And me, I was as a baseball fan and a football fan, I'm not into overtime and extra innings. I just get bored after a while. A lot of people like it because there's more to watch. But after a while, they say, just play the game.
I like it if it's intense. If the game is intense, I like it. So, but you just got to love sports.
Yeah, but how many times, like when the baseball season come around, how many times times you had to wait, and sometimes you couldn't stay up. They played until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I got some news for you too. First, two more things. Mm-hmm. First of all, I want to thank you for sending me that TCB thing with the Temptations and the Supremes. I saw you put that up. I liked, and I watched the whole thing. Yeah. I really enjoyed that. That was great. Yeah. And what was the second thing? It slipped my mind just like that. The second thing was I don't know. I'll think about it another time. But yes, the Temptation Supreme, that was classic.
Yeah, I only wish they had released that. Because back then they didn't have VCRs and any other video recording devices. But since that all came along, I was hoping that they would release it. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I don't know if it was because, even though it was Motown's product, but I think it was owned by NBC. I don't know.
I thought it was CBS. And it could have been NBC.
It was NBC.
Definitely not ABC, but
no, it was NBC.
NBC, okay. Yeah.
But that was a great show. And for the people who don't know what we're talking about, this was a 1968 special that the Temptations did with Diana Ross called TCB, Taking Care of Business. And yeah, it's a classic. So this is as close as you can get it. That's the full show right there. The one I posted, it's the full show.
But it's not the same. But it's not the original soundtrack though, because there's more songs. There was more songs on the soundtrack that it was.
No.
You sure?
Full songs. No. You're thinking about is that after TCB, then they cut a studio album. The Temptations recorded a studio album.
Yeah.
And that's probably what you're thinking about. But
yeah. Try me, baby. Oh, try
Yeah,
me. You see,
yeah,
nobody loves you. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So there you go. So I cleared that up for you. Yes. You
Yes.
didn't think of the other one yet?
I can't think of it. I'll probably think about it tomorrow and just, or I might type it in that, while the show's going on and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I get those brain fogs too. So I have to write it down. It's not like it used to be a time when I was able to just fly off the cuff and remember just like that. But
Yeah.
at a certain age, you lose your mind a little bit.
Yep. So, but I'll be on tomorrow, 10:05.
Okay, that sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, 10:05. Yeah.
That sounds like a plan to me. Okay, so we'll see you then.
All right then. Take care, everybody.
Great evening. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brian Camp with the latest developments in today's world of sports update. He's here every week at this time. And of course, he'll be here tomorrow, as you already said, part of the 2020 feature, but he'll be here a little bit earlier. Okay, so we'll have him doing that. But the second part of the 2020 feature, we'll have our DJ Pete here, who will give you entertainment news and reciting all of those birthdays of people of notoriety who have been celebrating birthdays this week. So we look forward to that. In case you're just joining us this very moment, you missed sports. And the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And I am Frank Allan, and I am going to be with you until the top of the hour. And of course, if you want to chime in on our conversation, please feel free to do so. Just type whatever you have to type in. You want to say hello, you could say hello. Just type it in and we'll acknowledge you. And if there's anything in particular that you want to talk about to add to the show, as far as conversation is concerned, feel free and we'll do our best to get it on for you. It's like when I was a disc jockey once upon a time. They said, I said, you have a request, I'll play it for you. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. On this day in history, in 1940, Frank Sinatra performs at the Lyric Theater in Indianapolis, Indiana, his first as feature singer with the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra. On this day in history, in 1948, President Harry Truman urges Congress to adopt a civil rights program. On this day in history, in 1950, the first broadcast of What's My Line aired on CBS TV. On this day in history, 1952, B.B. King's 3 O'Clock Blues hits #1 on the U.S. Billboard's R&B hit parade to become his first national hit. On this day in history, 1954, President Eisenhower announces the detonation of the world's first hydrogen bomb tested in 1952. On this day in history, 1956, the Coasters signed with Atlantic Records. On this day in history, 1958, WRIK, which is now WLUZ, Channel 7, from Ponce, Puerto Rico, did their first broadcast. Back in 1971, Idi Amin ousted Milton Obote and appoints himself as president and dictator of Uganda. Back in 1971, U.S. Congress Black Caucus organized with Charles C. Deggs Jr., its first chair. And back in 1973, Midnight Special, the rock music show, debuts on NBC. Back in 1974, Barbra Streisand had her first #1 hit called The Way We Were. In 1976, The Rich Little Show debuts on NBC TV. In 1982, government troops and Muslim fundamentalists battled in Hama, Syria. Back in 1984, the first Soap Opera Digest Awards go to Days of Our Lives. In 1990, South African President F.W. de Klerk promises to free Nelson Mandela's and legalize ACN and 60 other political organizations. And back in 1991, Sting, you remember Sting? Rock singer Sting scores his second UK #1 album with the Soul Cages. In 1997, Men Are From Mars Women Are From Venus closes at the Gershwin Theater in New York City. In 2009, RuPaul, his show Drag Race, hosted by RuPaul himself, premieres on Logo TV. In 2021, Pete Buttigieg is the first openly gay person to be confirmed to a U.S. cabinet posted as Transportation Security or Secretary. In 2021, U.S. President Joe Biden signs executive order to reunite immigrant families, setting up a new task force to address around 1,000 remaining separate families. In 1923, Liz Smith, American journalist and gossip columnist, known as the Grand Dame of Dish. You could see her on NBC, WNBC TV in New York City, also the Daily News. She was born on this day in 1923, and she was born in Fort Worth, Texas. She passed away 2017. I had the pleasure of meeting her, by the way. 1924, Sonny Stitt, American jazz saxophonist, was born in Boston, Massachusetts. He passed away in 1982. In 1927, Stan Getz, American band, big band, bebop and cool jazz and bossa nova tenor saxophonist, was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and he passed away in 1991. In 1937, Tommy Smothers of the Smothers Brothers was born on this day, and he was born in New York City. He's 86 years old today. Happy birthday, Tommy Smothers. In 1938, actor Bo Hopkins of Dynasty and Midnight Express was born on this day in Greensville, South Carolina, and he passed away 2022. In 1942, Graham Nash of the Hollies, and then he went on to Crosby, Stills and Nash. He was born in Blackpool, Lancashire. I would believe that's in the UK. Anyway, he's 81 years old today, and happy birthday. Actress Farrah Fawcett of Charlie's Angels was born on this day in 1947. She was born in Corpus Christi, Texas. She passed away June 25th, 2009 at the age of 62. By the way, she passed the same day as Michael Jackson. She died from cancer. In 1954, model Christy Brinkley was born on this day in Monroe, Michigan. She's 69 years old today. She still looks great. In 1957, actress Elizabeth Taylor marries for the third time to producer Michael Todd. And back in 1958, actress Rita Hayworth weds American film producer James Hill, and they got divorced in 1961. In 1963, filmmaker Francis Ford Coppola weds documentary filmmaker Eleanor Jessie Neal in Las Vegas, Nevada. In 1976, actress Gloria Swanson weds writer William Duffy, I should say. And back in 1997, singer Paula Abdul weds sports designer or sportswear designer Brad Beckerman, and they got married in Beverly Hills, California, at the Beverly Hills Four Seasons Hotel. In 2001, fashion designer Diane von Furstenberg weds media tycoon Barry Diller. Actor Boris Karloff, who played the original Frankenstein, died on this day in 1969 at the age of 81 years old from pneumonia. He was born November 23rd in 1887, and he was born in Camberwell, London, in the UK. And Sid Vicious of the Sex Pistols died on this day in 1979 at the age of 21 years old, unfortunately from an overdose of heroin. He was born May 10th, 1957 in London, England. In 1992, Bert Parks, American TV host of Miss America, of the Miss America pageant, dies of lung cancer at the age of 77 years old. Actor Gene Kelly, actor and dancer Gene Kelly, died on this day in 1996 at the age of 83 years old from a stroke. He was born August 23rd, 1912, and of course he was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In 2007, Billy Henderson of the Spinners dies at the age of 67. And finally, actor Phil Seymour Hoffman died at the age of 46. He died on this day in 2014, and it was a suspected drug overdose. And he was born July 23rd, 1967 in Fairport, New York City. That's this day in history, and I hope that if you have anything that you want to talk about on this day in history, pass it along to us. We would love to hear from you. And I will, of course, pass it along to others who are watching us right now and give them all of that information. And that's this day in history. I want to thank you guys for being with us. In case you're just joining us, once again, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And I'm Frank Allen. I'll be with you for the next few minutes. Those of you who are watching us on Facebook, take the time, all right? I have a few minutes left. And I should have mentioned it earlier. This way we kind of got more people in. Tag the show to them. If you're on Facebook, we're live on Facebook. Tag the show and let them catch about what's left of the show, which is about another coming up 14 minutes from now. We got 14 minutes left in the program, and let them check it out for themselves. And of course, if they like what they see, they will become full-fledged members just like you. And those of you who are watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure that you click on to that subscribe button and be part of us. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can see it right there, and click onto that. And that'll put you right in. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't need a card or any kind of form of, I don't know, no pass or anything. Just click onto it and you're right there. And that will give you the opportunity to know that when we come on the air live, or if we so much as post a video or a photo of some sort, you will get that notification while you're online. You'll see it, and all you have to do is click onto that notification, brings you right there to the website. Okay. And for the rest of you who are watching us on Instagram, we thank you so much. Just keep following us and tell your friends about us. And we really appreciate that. Now, for those of you, and I always ask you, if you'd like to say something, and those of you who just want to sit back and relax and enjoy the show, and a lot of you may be shy, you don't want to talk, but that's okay. It's just as long as you're out there watching the show, that's the most important thing. But if you'd like to get in touch with me personally, and this goes for everyone who's watching, you can do that. Now, I have two sources. I have an email address and I have a telephone number. And I am going to give you the email address, how you can do that right now. And all of you have to do is email me, frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. Or you can call me at 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. You can do that. It's there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If you're calling, you can leave a message there. If you need us to call you back, we'll get someone to do that. And you can talk about anything. You can call and email us and critique the show, or you want to know what the show is all about. You want to know more about the show, when we got started, I can give you a history on it, or anything like that. Or if you just want to say hi, that would be great too. If you just want to say hi, that would be great too. Any kind of form of communications you would like to convey to us, we really would appreciate that. So once again, let me give you that email address. That's Frank Allen Prod. Remember to spell Allen, A-L-L-A-N. It's A-L-L-A-N. Prod is P-R-O-D. That's short for productions. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. Or call me at 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467-134. Ladies and gentlemen, I saved this part because I wanted to talk about it, and with a little bit of time that we have left, I just want to squeeze this in. Now, those of you already know that they already had the funeral of Tyree Nichols. That's the young man of 29 years old who was beaten up by 5 police officers in Tennessee, in Memphis, Tennessee. just had this funeral just Wednesday. And I didn't get a chance to see it. It was televised, but I didn't get a chance to see it. And I probably wouldn't have made the choice to watch it anyway, even if I had the time, because I don't think I would have been in the shape or the mood for it. However, I still stand by the parents of this young man, and you already seen the video. Now that video told everything. And I'm glad that all of the networks and everyone who showed that video showed it in its entirety and not in sections and spurts. They showed there were 4 different body cam videos, 4 of them, you know. And of course, you know, the first one showed when they had him on the ground. And he was just wondering why they stopped him. He kept questioning. What did I do? What did I do? I didn't do anything. What did I do? Tell me why you're stopping me. Now, the things I don't understand about some of these, and I'm not saying all policemen, because we have a lot of great policemen that they're being overshadowed by these bad policemen, which we've got to change, by the way, because I know there are a lot of great police officers out there to do what they're sworn to do, to serve and protect the people in the community. The thing that I don't understand about these policemen and others in the past that I've seen do this is when they question you. If you're at a traffic stop and they question you, what am I being stopped for? Can you tell me that? But they didn't give him an answer. They dragged him out of the car. They beat him. And you sort of saw the videos. You know, they have the 4 body cam videos, but the last video that they showed was the one. Well, I think there were 3. Were there 3 body cam videos and one? I think it was 4 body cam videos and one from the street light that was stable. And that's the one that you could actually see the beating. He was kicked in the head. And he was, you know, they didn't give him a chance to talk. He was handcuffed. Someone said a policewoman. I didn't see it. There were 5 police officers. Now, if you're talking about the policewoman, I assume you're talking about the chief of police who wasn't on the scene. Now, maybe you're right. Maybe there was a policewoman and there were more policemen and maybe a policewoman on the scene as well. Thank you for that information. But the point is when they had him on the ground, you saw the beating. They kicked him in the head. They used him as the family described as a piñata. You know what a piñata is, right? It's one of those things that are shaped like an animal that's full of candy and prizes for a kid's birthday party. They hang it on the ceiling, and the guest and the birthday boy and the birthday girl takes the stick and whips the piñata till it breaks up, and all of the candy and surprises fall out, and all of the other kids can grab what they want. And they beat him to a pulp. And I was so annoyed by that. It was very hard to watch. And it just took me back to the days. It just took me back to the days of Rodney King. Now, the reason why they said, a lot of people say, well, I didn't see that was worse than the Rodney King. Now, I think the reason why they said that is because Rodney King survived his beatings. He died from something else later, but he survived the beating. This man, Mr. Nichols, Kari Nichols, did not survive. He wound up in the hospital, of course, and he wound up there for 3 days until he died. He died 3 days later. And of course, before they released the videos, you saw the still image of him lying in the hospital. I don't know. I don't know. I think his father took that video, that still shot of him for the record. And we got to see that. And he really looked bad. I mean, his whole face was swollen. They kicked him in the face. They kicked him in the head to the point where he couldn't, the oxygen couldn't go to his brain. And so, but he just kept asking. And then at one point of the video, you saw when he escaped. And I got to tell you, if it were me, if I would have able to get away, I would have ran myself. He was trying to get home. You heard him call his mother. You heard him on the video. He called his mom, mom. And he was only yards away from his house when he did that. Unfortunately, his mom didn't hear that. You would hope he was hoping that it was able to do that. When he got away, he ran. All he wanted to do was run home. Now, I don't have a lot of time on the show, and I will be talking more about this tragedy tomorrow morning on the coffee hour. I tell you, it was a lot to talk about. It was tragic, and I'm appalled. And something's got to change. We have to make sure that the good officers, the good police officer, go to the forefront. Let's weed out these bad guys, because they were a disgrace, as the mom said. They were a disgrace to their own people in the African-American community, and they were a disgrace to their own family. And may I add, they were a disgrace to the uniform that they were wearing. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Just join me tomorrow. We'll talk more about it. I didn't know that it was going to be, I was going to say this extensive, and I had other things to talk about as well. But we'll save it all tomorrow. Join me tomorrow on the coffee hour, and we'll talk more about that. But right now, what I want to do is give you all of those movies I was telling you about. Now, every week, you already know, every week on this show, I have my picks of the week. Well, you guys are ready for the weekend. And a lot of you guys like movies and you love those Turner Classic movies. And I have my picks of the weekend that I want to share with you to add to your bucket list of things to watch if you want to watch it. Now, I'm pretty sure you do more than watch movies on the weekends. You want to do other things, but just in case you want to catch up on some movies, I just want to add a few things that I have for you. So let me do that right now. Let's get started right now. Now, here's something, and this is great. This is great because this is just in time that we're here on Black History Month. Malcolm X, the one that was produced and by Spike Lee, the Spike Lee of Malcolm X, 1992. That's going to be on Turner Classic Movies. That's starring Denzel Washington and, of course, Spike Lee there. That's on Turner Classic Movies. You can see that this Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm giving you Eastern, but if you're in a different time zone, you just act accordingly. Eastern. So that's coming on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, Malcolm X in full. It's a long movie, so get your popcorn, your peanuts, and your Cracker Jacks, and ready for that. It's not a black and white classic movie, but that's one of the things that you can find on Turner Classic Movies this week. Also, for those of you who grew up in the same era I did, remember Cooley High? Cooley High from 1975, starring Glenn Turman and Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. You can check that out. That's on Turner Classic Movies. Also on Saturday, that comes on in the evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's Cooley High. I love that movie. I could watch that 1,000 times. Great. And these are not black and white movies. These are all color movies. Here's another one. And this all contains movies that is dedicated to Black History Month. And here's another one that I picked out called Sounder from 1972, starring Paul Winfield and Cicely Tyson. And that's on Turner Classic Movies as well. That's Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. I hope you enjoy that. And those are the picks of the week. And you could also go on Turner Classic Movies as well and scroll down and go through the program guide and see what's happening there, because there may be other movies that you may want to watch that I didn't mention, but those are my picks of the week. And I hope you do enjoy them. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. For more of great talk, and we'll finish this conversation. I didn't know that I was going to go on this long with it, but there's more to talk about. So I will continue this tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Coffee hour. Brian Camp will be here with sports update, DJ Pete with entertainment news, and of course, we'll have all of that for you tomorrow. We look forward to you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Other than that, meet me back here to Talk Back Live next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Brian Camp with sports. And of course, you and I have more conversation. Until then, you guys have a wonderful day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And by all means, good night. Take care, everybody.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host, Frank Allen. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant, Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer, Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.